ब्रह्मणस्पत
शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्
प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयङ्गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रतमद्यां हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीन्मा देवी जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामार्द्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं देवजुष्टामुदाराम् तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोत बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देवसखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह भ्रातुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीर्नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वानिर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारान्दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टाङ्करीषिणीम् ईश्वरीगुं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् मनसः काममाकूतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयि श्रीश्रयतां यशः कर्दमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्दमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवस मे गृहे निच देवी मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गळां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः आर्द्रां यक्करिणीं यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योऽश्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषानहम् यः शुचिः प्रयतो भूत्वा जुहुयादाज्यमन्वहम् श्रियं पञ्चदश चञ्च श्रीकामः सततं जपेत् पद्मानने पद्म ऊरो पद्माक्षी पद्मसम्भवे त्वं मां भजस्व पद्माक्षी येन सौख्यं लभाम्यहम् अश्वदायी गोदायी धनदायी महाधने धनं मे जुषतां देवी सर्वकामाश्च देहि मे पुत्रपौत्रधनं धान्यं हस्त्यश्वादिगवेरतं प्रजानां भवसि माता आयुष्मन्तं करोतु माम् धनमग्निर्धनं वायुर्धनं सूर्यो धनं वसुः धनमिन्द्रो बृहस्पतिर्वरुणं धनमश्नुते वैनतेय सोमं पिबतु वृत्रः सोमं धनस्य सोमिनो मह्यं ददातु सोमिनः न क्रोधो न च मात्सर्यं न लोभो नाशुभा मतिः भवन्ति कृतपुण्यानां भक्तानां श्रीसूक्तं जपेत् सदा वर्षन्तु ते विभावरी दिवो अभ्रस्य विद्युतः रोहन्तु सर्वबीजान्यवब्रह्मद्विषो जहि पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले त्वत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधत्स्व या सा पद्मासनस्था विपुलकटितटी पद्मपत्रायताक्षी गम्भीरावर्तनाभिस्तनभरनमिता शुभ्रवस्तोत्तरीया लक्ष्मीर्दिव्यैर्गजेन्द्रैर्मणिगणखचितैः स्नापिता हेमकुम्भैः नित्यं सा पद्महस्ता मम वसतु गृहे सर्वमाङ्गल्ययुक्ता लक्ष्मीं क्षीरसमुद्रराजतनयां श्रीरङ्गदामेश्वरीं दासीभूतसमस्तदेववनितां लोकैकदीपाङ्कुराम् श्रीमन्मन्दकटाक्षलब्धविभवद्ब्रह्मेन्द्रगङ्गाधराम् त्वां त्रैलोक्यकुटुम्बिनीं सरसिजां वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियाम् सिद्धलक्ष्मीर्मोक्षलक्ष्मीर्जयलक्ष्मी सरस्वती श्रीलक्ष्मी वरलक्ष्मीश्च प्रसन्ना मम सर्वदा वराङ्कुशोपाशमभीतिमुद्रां करैर्वहन्तीं कमलासनस्ताम् बालार्ककोटिप्रतिभां त्रिनेत्रां भजेऽहमम्बां जगदीश्वरीं त्वाम् सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते महालक्ष्मी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः परिषदति दुर्गाणि विश्वा नावेव सिन्धुं दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम् दुर्गां देवीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसि तरसे नमः अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्ति विरति दुर्गाणि विश्वा पूश्च पृथ्वी बहुला न उर्वी भवातोकायतनया यशंयोः विश्वानि नो दुर्गः जातवेदः सिन्धुन्न नावा दुरितादिपरिषे अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानोऽस्माकं बोध्यवितातनूनाम् पृतनाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं हुवेम परमासदस्तात् स नः परिषदति दुर्गाणि विश्वाक्षामद्देवो अतिदुरितात्यग्निः प्रत्नोषि कमेड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाच होतानव्यश्च सत्से स्वाञ्चाग्ने तनुवं पिप्रयस्वास्मभ्यं च सौभगमायजस्व गोभिर्जुष्टमयुजो निषिक्तं तवेन्द्र विष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमपि संवसानो वैष्णवीं लोक इह मादयन्ताम् कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गिः प्रचोदयात् स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अभिराधसा जुगुरत आनो भरदक्षिणेनाभिसव्येन प्रमृषा इन्द्रमानो वसो निर्भात उपक्रमस्वावरदृशता दृष्णो जनाना तदा सोश्चरस्य वेदः इन्द्रयौनुते अस्तिवाजो विप्रेभिः सनित्वः अस्माभिः सुतं सनुये सद्यो जुवस्ते भाजा अस्मभ्यं विश्वश्चन्द्राः वशैषमक्षो जरन्ते ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रमश्रमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानशृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनं निषुषेद गणपते गणेशो त्वां तुर्विप्रथमं कवीनां नरुते तत्क्रियते किञ्चनाये महामर्षं भगवन् चित्रमर्चा अभिख्यानो भगवन्नाथमानान् सखे बोधिवसुपते सखीनां रणं कृतिरनकृत् सत्य सुष्मा भक्ते चिदापचाराय अस्मान् ॐ हर 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 ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्याय च अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमो उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वदाय च दूरे वदाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्तीत्याय च कूल्याय च नमः सार्याय च वार्याय च नमः प्रधरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमो आचार्याय च आद्याय च नमः षष्ट्याय च फेन्याय च नमस्तिकत्याय च प्रभात्याय च ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering myself at Bhagawan's divine lotus feet, esteemed elders, and my dear brothers and sisters, my loving Sai Ram to all of you. Dasara is a time when we see three major activities going on in Prasanthi Nilayam. The Sri Sathya Sai Gramaseva, where more than 2,500 students and staff of Bhagawan's educational institutions go to more than 150 villages to serve Bhagawan's prasadam. The Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajnam at the Purnachandra Auditorium, and the Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha, which is held every evening in Sai Kulwant Hall. This evening, we have Professor A. Anantaraman, the media coordinator of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust, and the faculty member of the Department of Management Studies of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prasanthi Nilayam Campus, giving us a brief introduction on the significance of these three major activities and its relevance in the global mission of Bhagawan of Lok Kalyanam. Please welcome Professor A. Anantaraman. Sai Ram.
Students and fellow devotees, the legend has it that Dasara signifies the victory of Devas over Asuras, euphemistically, the triumph of righteousness over unrighteousness. And Prasanthi Nilayam used to reach the heights of grandeur when on the 9th day of this Navaratri, the Veda Purusha himself would accept the Purnahuti. It's now the third year that we are performing this Saptaha Jnana Yajna in the physical absence of that Veda Purusha who presided over this from 1961 onwards. Right from the time each year, Bhagawan, in addition to this, prescribed evening sessions of Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha, of which you will have the first session today, and this session will continue for the next 7 days. This was an archetype assembly of the learned and the devout who came to present their spiritual and practical wisdom, and it started originally at the palace of Raja Venkatagiri several years ago. Initially, for the first 15 years, it used to be a series of speeches by learned men and not infrequently with the added bonus of Swami's discourse also. When the event restarted again in 1993, after a gap of about 5 years, Swami gradually inducted the students, some of his senior staff, and also senior devotees in the category of speakers. And this was predominantly the category of people who spoke on this Vidwan Mahasabha. But the event still continued to be called as Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha in spite of the fact that most of the people who spoke were his students and faculty members. And Swami himself provided an answer to this puzzle. Why would he still call it a Vidwan Mahasabha when predominantly it was his students and faculty who were speaking on that occasion? Swami's answer was, for me, my students and teachers are not only Vidwans, they are Asthana Vidwans. Swami's unfettered love for his students and the role he had and the feeling he had about their role in his mission has been rendered in prose and poetry. Swami's love overflowed the universal boundaries and fell on everybody. While he did that, his love for the students was something to be watched and admired because of its sheer intensity. Those of us sitting on the sideline have watched sometimes with envy this love, which was evident particularly when Swami used to wait till late on Gramaseva, sometimes very late, for all his students to return from the service that day. I have seen this love reflected in the limpid eyes of the school child as the school child got up to present a flower to Swami. I have seen it in the palpable excitement of the students when they lined up the streets with conch shells to serenade the arrival of Swami whenever Swami returned from his visits elsewhere. We have seen this love in the pride Swami used to exhibit whenever he asked one of his students to sing, particularly after a performance by a maestro, almost as if in competition, after any performance in Sai Kulwant Hall. These were the times when the coordinates of love and longing truly met. And such love is probably at the center of all that is happening at Prasanthi Nilayam, starting from Gramaseva. A few years ago, during one of my earlier outings at Gramaseva, I was waiting to board the bus on the way to return. And at that time, a wizened old man, bent with age, moist with tears, reached me at the bus stop, and he ambled onto me. Fortunately, he could speak in Kannada, which I didn't understand at the time. And when he spoke, he said it all. He had a tremor in his voice when he said, Devru namella nodkoltare. God always looks after all of us. In the Gramaseva exercise, with one stroke, Swami fulfilled several simultaneous objectives. Students were taught the basic principle of how to manage a team. They were given first-hand exposure to the rural landscape, the jewel of India. They were also shown how to respect what poet Thomas Gray called the short and simple annals of the poor. And they carried from God a message to his creation that he cared. I teach theories of strategy to business schools in India and abroad, but I have no theory to explain the strategy of this master strategist. And such game changers are at the root of Swami's mission. Through the initiatives he started and the institutions he founded, Swami has given to the world a framework that combines science and spirituality, institutions and values, modernity and tradition. His institutions create scientists who work with nature, managers who create value, doctors who heal their mind rather than mend the body, and teachers who transform rather than inform. And at the core of all these institutions is his love. Swami's concept of Medicare is love that heals. His educare is love that inspires. His social care is love that transforms. At one level, all Swami's institutions, colleges, hospitals, schools, water project, they're all examples of efficiency, speed, and good governance. At another level, they are also examples how to integrate education with values, healing with compassion, and service with selflessness. Together, they redefine the philanthropy of public service. Not only this, but they also talk about governance and management. As one who has had the task for the last 3 years of communicating to the media, I have been privileged to have a ringside seat and observe all the happenings of the Sai mission all over the world. Frankly, I am wonderstruck at its size and vista. Never in my 40 years of sojourn with Swami have I ever realized even the might and sweep of this mission. It's like sitting deep inside a mountain, unaware of its majesty. It's like squatting at the bottom of the ocean, completely ignorant of its sweep. At the flood-ravaged Sopho in Laos, Sai volunteers rebuilt shattered homes. In Pombia in Italy, Sai brothers cared for the physically damaged. Sai volunteers also helped in the Christchurch earthquake in cyclone in New Zealand. These are all some of the events that took place in the last 1 year. In Darjeeling, Sai workers cleaned the drain of filth, mud, and excrement. 50 youth from 22 cities of Russia attended a camp in Ektenberg and discussed Swami's life and philosophy. 45 Sai volunteers from Malaysia and neighboring countries walked into the rainforests of Borneo to implement a village integration program. In the city of Hanvela in Sri Lanka, Sai volunteers run a hospice for terminally ill cancer patients. Kazakhstan held an EHV seminar. 40 children sleeping in the platform of Dum Dum metro station in Calcutta do not know who they are, where they are, and why they are. No one to care and no one to feed. The West Bengal Seva Dal wake them up at 6:30 in the morning, brush their teeth, bathe them, and conduct classes on the railway platform. Sathya Sai's sanctuary in Iceland offered peace and refuge to neglected and abused animals. Medical camps were arranged in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Dubai. Sai volunteers provided emergency relief to hurricane victims in the east coast of USA. And in Visakhapatnam, every Sunday, Sai youth collects some of the homeless, derelict humanity, which you and I would avoid. They cut their nails, trim their hair, wash their wounds, bathe them, dress them in a new set of clothes, and then release them back into the world. Elsewhere, Sai devotees would wash a leper's wound or feed an autistic child. Never in the history of humanity has so much been achieved by so few in so little a time. What kind of an organization is this that we have that breeds people who perform this kind of a service? This is the message of this Navaratri today. When elsewhere in the world, young men spend their time in malls and multiplexes, these Sai youth spend their time just to make life a little better for their lonely and lost brethren. In Swami's system of social care, There is no giver and there is no receiver. Service is simply an exchange of love from one manifestation of divine to another manifestation of divine without any boundaries of race, nationality, caste or creed. By their fruits ye shall know them, say the scriptures. All these point unerringly to the avatar who once declared, I will succeed, I will not be limited, my will shall prevail. Sometimes staying within the cocoon of Prasanthi Nilayam, we do not realize the might and sweep of the Sai mission, the extent to which this movement has spread all over the world. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to present Swami's Anantapur water project at the 3rd Water Forum at Osaka, Japan. One morning, in between the sessions, I was having refreshments at the canteen. There was an African gentleman at a nearby table. After some time, he came up to me and asked me, are you a devotee of Sathya Sai Baba? Startled, I said, yes, but how do you know? He said, I recognized you by your green ring, he said, and then introduced himself. I'm the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso. He held out his hand. He had a green ring. And as the conference progressed, we found that in this assemblage of international conference of presidents, kings, ministers, bankers and bureaucrats, there were 8 of us who were the proud owners of this green ring. And I've seen Sai devotees in the jungles of Africa. I've seen them in the mountains of Andalusia in Spain. I have seen them in the skiing slopes of Salfandon in Austria. And once I was startled to hear the strains of a Sai bhajan by a lonely trekker in the Grand Canyon. It's a majestic sweep covering Loka Samasta. Another evidence of the dynamism of this organization is that ever since Mahasamadhi, not one function, not one regimen, from the pre-dawn Magara Sankirtan to post-sunset Aarti has been missed at the Kulwant Hall. And devotees continue to come from all over the world. And at Prasanthi Nilayam, at least 30% of the devotees who come are devotees who come for the first time, thereby confirming to the vitality of this movement and organization. People who have never come here before have been coming in the last 3 years. Actually, when I asked one of the couple from Bangalore, who were 100 miles away, who came for the first time, I asked them, why is it you did not take the 3-hour bus ride from Bangalore to Puttaparthi while Swami was here in his physical form? They sheepishly turned their face away. But finally, the wife found the courage to ask me, what did they lose by not coming here while Swami was in his physical form? I told them, I cannot tell them what they missed. I can only tell them what we gained. Darshanam papanasanam, sparshanam karma vimochanam, sambhashanam sankatanasanam. These are the things we gained. I could see that their eyes were turning moist. It's a privilege to be a part of this mission. And no other leader of any movement in history has left behind such an organization, structure, trained and committed people. Jesus Christ had 12 apostles. If you consider Matthias, who replaced Judas, half of them were illiterate and of doubtful character. Yet, they changed the world. We have here a massive functioning organization and structure of committed young men. Can we not usher a completely new order which will take us from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, from the transient to the eternal? That should be our dedication today. Sai Ram.
Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Sai Govindam Parmanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. I offer myself at the lotus feet of our most beloved Lord, whose nature is bliss infinite and who is known through the imports of Vedanta. Swami, we pray to you, let our speech be rooted in our minds. Let our minds be rooted in our speech. Let us never ever forsake what we have heard. May the teacher and the taught be always protected. A very small story from our scriptures beautifully summarizes the purpose for which we have all gathered here. A group of students once went to their master and asked, "Master, we have one question. Please tell us, how do we gain self-knowledge?" The all-knowing master smiled and said, "I will give you the answer, but before that, you need to complete a small task." He gave them a piece of cotton and said, "Can you light a lamp from this?" It was indeed an easy task. One student quickly grabbed the cotton piece, turned it into a fine wick, dipped it in oil, got the matchstick, struck the light, and lit the lamp. The master then called all his students and said, "To light this lamp, you need three things: the wick, the oil, and the spark. And so too, to light the lamp of self-knowledge, you need three things. The mind is like the cotton. Through the process of churning, it has to be made one-pointed and focused. Such a mind then has to be dipped in the oil of devotion. Once such a mind is ready, it has to be brought in contact with the spark of knowledge. When all these three come together, the flame of self-knowledge will burn by itself." Respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters who are present here in Prasanthi Nilayam, and to the millions and millions of devotees across the world who are not physically here but their hearts and minds are ever enjoined in Bhagawan, every action that we perform in the awareness of Sai Sannidhi is preparing our minds and our hearts. A year long of sadhana goes in, where we prepare day in and day out to make our minds focused, one-pointed, and to soak ourselves in devotion. And then comes the Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha. It is here that we all gather together, offer our hearts and our minds to Bhagawan, and as if Bhagawan is ready, waiting to strike and infuse us with the knowledge of the self. We commenced this year's Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha with 3 students, 2 students and 1 teacher from Bhagawan's educational institutions. The first speaker for the day is Shri Manikrishna Anand. Manikrishna is a chartered accountant and is currently pursuing his MBA in finance at the Department of Management Studies, Shri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning, Prasanthi Nilayam Campus. He is part of the Mandir Bhajan group and plays the harmonium and the Mohan Veena. The second speaker for the day is Ms. Kritika Lakshmi. Ms. Lakshmi is currently pursuing her 3rd BA, majoring in optional English from the Anantapur campus of the Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. Her interests include cultural activities like dance, drama, creative writing, and debate. The third speaker for the day is Shri Rajeev Rajan. Shri Rajeev Rajan joined the Brindavan Campus for his BCom honors in 1998. At the undergraduate level, he was the recipient of the Gold Medal for academic excellence. He completed his Masters of Financial Management in 2003 from the Department of Management Studies at the Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning, Prasanthi Nilayam Campus, and then joined the Brindavan Campus in 2004. Currently, he is Assistant Professor in the Department of Commerce at the Brindavan Campus of the Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. I request the speakers to come here and address all of us in the order in which their names have been announced. As we attend the Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha for 7 days, I pray to Bhagawan that in the varied themes, in the varied stories that we listen, all of us find in that the story of our lives. In the varied words that we listen, we find the words of Bhagawan. And in the varied experiences that we hear, we find the experience of our own self. I pray to Bhagawan to shower his love and grace on all of us. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer myself at Bhagavan's lotus feet. Respected elders, sisters and brothers, Sai Ram to all of you. There are many paths in spiritual sadhana. There is dhyana, meditation. There is the path of devotion, bhakti marga. There is the path of knowledge, Jnana marga. There is the path of work or doing one's duty, karma yoga, and so on. As students of Sai, we are quite fortunate to have the unique opportunity given by Swami to tread one of these paths to progress in our spiritual journey. And that is the path of seva, service to fellow man. One thing that the path of seva offers, which is quite different from other paths, is the fact that we realize our own divinity by seeing that and serving that spark of divinity in others too. Ashtadasha Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanadvayam Paropakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapidanam. Sage Vyasa condensed the wisdom of 18 Puranas succinctly into 2 lines. One attains merit while serving others, and one commits sin by hurting others, which is essentially Swami's aphorism of help ever, hurt never. Our sadhana, therefore, can be to train ourselves to become instruments to transmit God's love. Swami has said that at the end of one's earthly sojourn, what matters is not the number of degrees or one's professional accomplishments, but how much of love he has shared with all of creation. That is essentially what Gramaseva helps us to do. Share love, from love, to love, with love. There is an incident which happened in the early years of Gramaseva. While serving at one of the villages, a few students noticed a small hut in the distance, on a hillock, quite a distance away, which was not covered by the Gramaseva area. Now, remembering Swami's instructions to serve each and every one in the village, these students took a few packets of food and clothes and went to the hut to see who was there. And what did they see? They saw an old woman crouching in the corner of a hut. They went to the old woman and said, "Amma, Bhagawan has sent prasadam. Please do take it." Listening to these words, the old woman broke down into tears and then told them why. She had not had food for 2 days and was fervently praying to Bhagawan to save her from this predicament. Swami, through his students, promptly responded. The message from this incident, is that Swami is the giver and Swami is the act of giving. We are but part of the process if we choose to be so. That is our spiritual sadhana. Swami's mission will continue irrespective of anything. That is Swami's sankalpa. It is up to us to decide whether we are part of it or not. One of Swami's instructions while doing the Gramaseva is to chant Om Satchidanandaya Namaha while giving packets of food and clothes. This is a constant reminder that Sat, Chit and Ananda, which is present in everyone and everything, from the ant to the elephant, from the atom to the entire cosmos, is also present in the one who's giving the service and the one who's receiving the service. Swami has also said that we must have daya, compassion, and not pity. There is an example in this context. Once, a calf was stuck in slush and was desperately kicking, trying to come out of it. A few street urchins were delighting in and taking pleasure out of the pain of the calf. An ascetic who was walking past saw the calf and was deeply pained by the calf's plight. He immediately jumped into the slush and pushed the calf to freedom. Now the street urchins were quite irritated at the fact that they have been robbed of their source of entertainment, and they accosted the ascetic, asking him why he had done it. The ascetic replied, "When you saw the calf, you only saw the pain of the calf and you chose to derive pleasure out of that pain. When I saw the calf, I could feel its agony and I alleviated my own suffering. That is why I saved the calf." That is compassion. Understanding and feeling others' pain and alleviating one's own suffering by removing the pain of others. Hence, when somebody suffers, you suffer. When somebody else is happy, you are happy. It is the same spirit in all, the same indweller in all beings. With compassion, realization dawns that while the dehas are many, the dehi is one. We need to use this deha in service of that dehi, the deva in all. If we practice the attitude that we are delivering merely God's love, the sympathy and pity we feel automatically transforms into compassion. Swami has given the concept of Narayana Seva to man for man's redemption. Narayana is the supreme Godhead. When serving God, we do not have pride or ego or a sense of superiority. We do not expect gratitude in return for the services done. When the indweller is the same in everyone, where is the sense of gratitude? Where is the question of ego, superiority, and pride? The one who gives is Swami. The one who receives is Swami. The act of giving is Swami. The object being given is Swami. Hence, where do we come into the picture? We are but mere witnesses who must realize that Seva is an opportunity to progress in our spiritual journey, to find out and realize where we come from and to where we go. On this auspicious occasion of Navratri, just like Mother Kali, Devi Chamundi destroyed Mahishasura, we must destroy Dehabhimana, the identification with the name and the form of the body, and cultivate Atmabhimana, the identification of oneness of spirit. It is like the balloon. When filled with air, the balloon is big. The balloon represents the identification with the name and the form of the body. With the prick of divine grace, when the balloon bursts, realization dawns that the air inside is the same as the air outside, and that there never was any difference to begin with. That is the true essence of Dasara, conquering one's negative qualities of selfishness, laziness, and apathy, and engaging in the service of fellow man. I would like to conclude my talk with an excerpt from a poem titled Service to God. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Let this chant ring out the cosmos through. He, as the indweller of every heart, shall be the cue. Care for life, concern for nature, respect for all of creation too. Let Seva be a bridge and never a wall, a true response to the divine's call. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Jai Sai Ram.
Dear Bhagawan, that rose was not just an offering of my love. I have just passed a slightly different baton to you. Please take over. With loving salutations at Bhagawan's lotus feet, Sai Ram, and a very good evening to all present here. Bhagawan has said, and I quote, Akhila Manavalako Anandamunu Gurchi, meaning, to give mankind Ananda is my vow. These words of Bhagawan reminds me of an incident. A teacher once asked a group of nursery kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? He immediately got a variety of answers. Some shouted the names of their favorite superheroes or actors. The more serious ones said doctor, engineer, etc. But the teacher noticed that one small girl was silent. So he went up to her and asked her, tell me, what do you want to be when you grow up? The girl looked up at the teacher very seriously and said, Teacher, I want to be happy when I grow up. The girl's answer only reinforces the fact in my mind that there is no greater success than happiness. Today, I will be talking about the 7 steps to happiness. The number 7 has a very special significance in divine creation. For instance, there are 7 seas, 7 worlds, 7 notes of music, 7 colors to a rainbow, etc. The Veda Purusha Jnana Yajna, according to Vedic injunctions, if performed for 7 days, can confer upon man the ability to get rid of the 7 veils of ignorance and ascend the 7 stages of spiritual knowledge. The first step to happiness is faith. Faith is a battle between the mind and the heart. Looking back at my own life, until the year 2011, I feel I survived on what I call borrowed faith. I use this term borrowed faith because faith is an intensely personal experience. But my faith was based on my mother's simple assurance in my childhood that Bhagawan is God. Post-April 2011, however, I had to fight many doubts and obstacles to the path to faith. But with Bhagawan's grace, I was accepted as his student. And today my faith is built on the strong foundations of my own experiences. Thus, these doubts and obstacles are very necessary for us to develop strong faith on strong foundations. The second step to happiness is to accept these very problems and obstacles that we face in life. Richard Bach, in his book Illusions, says, we seek the problems we face in life because we need the gift they have to offer. This gift is a lesson we learn from them. But sometimes we face the same kind of problems again and again. A few months back, I felt I was going through a very difficult phase in my life. While sitting in the prayer hall, I demanded an explanation from Bhagawan. That night, I got a strange dream wherein I was standing in front of a college notice board looking up at a big white list titled Supplementary Examinations. I got a big shock when I noticed my name right at the top of the list. I woke up with a start and later realized that this was Bhagawan's answer to my question. Problems recur in our life when we have failed to learn the lesson we were supposed to learn. With this perspective, that problems are very necessary for us to progress, we can remain unaffected by them. The third step to happiness is to realize that suffering is grace. Now, how can suffering be grace? In one of his Dasara discourses, Bhagawan talks about a guru who teaches his pupil that Janma Dukham, Jara Dukham, Jaya Dukham, Punaha Punaha, meaning birth is misery, life is misery, wife is misery, again and again. But for those of us who can merge our will in God's will, suffering becomes grace. Suffering is something that causes pain. But Bhagawan says, walk with me and I shall lead you. So with Bhagawan's soothing presence at our side, the pain and suffering vanishes. The suffering minus the pain is like victory without the struggle. The fourth step to happiness is understanding. Understanding God is beyond us. One particular session of study circle, my teacher asked, do you wonder about your relationship with God? Now this question really struck me. Who am I to God? All of us crave for recognition in Bhagawan's eyes and pride ourselves when we get it. But pride comes with a fall. Bhagawan answered this question of mine in a way that really humbled me. After bhajans, as students were dispersing, one girl came up to me and placed a dead butterfly in my hand, leaving me perplexed. A few minutes later, one more girl came and placed a flower in my hand from Swami's footstool. Looking at the butterfly and the flower, I understood that this was Bhagawan's answer. We are mere seekers of the divine nectar that is Bhagawan's love. Once we understand the humble nature of our position, our pride naturally lessens, leaving the pathway to God clear. That is why Bhagawan says, ask not what is the role of your life in my mission. Ask instead, what is the role of my mission in your life? The fifth step to happiness is focus. As long as our focus remains God, everything remains in the right perspective. But the moment that focus shifts, things start going wrong. This lesson was taught to me back in the year 2002. Bhagawan was at Whitefield, and the famous devotees, the Pink Sisters, were also present. Having had read a book about them, I was fascinated to see them. I was in my 4th standard, and I kept staring at them. Bhagawan came at around 7 in the morning, walked up to them, talked to them, and blessed them. And I was still staring at them. I had not realized that meanwhile, Bhagawan had walked along our block and had come to a standstill right in front of my row. I suddenly felt a painful nudge on my ribs, and I turned to find myself looking straight into Bhagawan's beautiful eyes. At that moment, however, the stern expression in his eyes silenced all my thoughts. The message in his eyes was silently loud and clear. Look at me. Focus on me, they seemed to say. Till today, I remind myself of this beautiful lesson. The 6th step to happiness is objectivity. My Balvika's teacher asked me, why are we unhappy? I replied, because we have desires. Then she asked, why do we have desires? I said, because we are dissatisfied with what we have in life. She smiled and she said, we are dissatisfied with what we have because we do not look at life objectively. The main reason for our unhappiness is that we do not look at life as it is, but always compare it with an illusion of what life ought to be according to us. Only when we can break through that illusion of what life ought to be can we appreciate what we already have in life. The 7th and the final step to happiness is involvement. Most of us interpret detachment to be detaching ourselves from our own concerns. But detachment is true involvement. Detachment is the enlargement of the self to encompass the concerns of others. Bhagawan says, expansion is my life. Gramaseva and service activities is an expression of that expansion. Expansion of the self. Enlargement of the self to encompass the concerns of others. Now, there is a difference between participation and involvement as taught to me by one of my teachers. We can be participants by merely witnessing something and not doing anything about it. But involvement means putting heart and soul into the work. The 2nd verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad states that for those who cannot take the difficult step of renunciation, righteous action is prescribed. Thus, by engaging ourselves in service activities and putting our heart and soul into the work, we can derive a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction that makes us happy. Prayer is not asking, it is submission. Thus, I would like to conclude with a prayer of submission in the words of Tagore. In one salutation to thee, my God, let all my senses spread out and touch this world at thy feet. Let all my songs gather together their diverse strains into one single current and flow into a sea of silence in one salutation to thee. Jai Sai Ram.
offering loving pranams at Swami's lotus feet, respected elders, dear sisters and brothers, Sai Ram. This morning, we all have witnessed the commencement of the Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yajnam. We have seen the arrangements, the rituals, the chanting, the oblations. What do we make out of all this? How do we relate to this yajnam? How do we understand this? Is it just about the arrangements, the rituals, the mantras, the offerings, or is there something deeper than what it looks? For example, I could lift my hand, and there could be various intentions, different feelings behind the lifting of this hand. For example, I could lift my hand for seeking permission. Ma'am, can I speak? Or I could lift my hand to bless a younger one. Or I could lift my hand to strike someone. Or I could lift my hand to, just exercise. Similarly, behind the act of performing the yajnam, could there be a deeper meaning? Back in 1962, when the first yajnam was conducted in Puttaparthi, Prasanthi Nilayam, Swami re-emphasized that he has come for dharma sthapana, Veda poshana, Vidvat poshana, and Bhakta rakshana. He very emphatically stated that if dharma has to be re-established, it is very essential to nourish the Vedas, which is at the root of dharma. It is very essential to nourish the Vedic culture and the Vedic scholars. And since then, we have seen year after year, yajnas, and even the historic Atirudra Mahayajna, which was conducted in the year 2006. So what do we make out of all this? Some say it is a big waste of money. In fact, we have seen many times Swami materializing the Navaratnas, the 9 precious gems, and offering it to the leaping flames during Purnahuti. Was Swami being wasteful? With those 9 precious gems, we could have performed some life-saving operations on some poor, deserving patients. No, there could have been some purpose, some deeper purpose. Some say, what a waste of ghee and grains and food. With all that food, we could have served 1 million hungry stomachs. No, there is a deeper purpose. There is some meaning behind that. And that purpose, that deeper meaning, could reveal itself to us at different times, in different ways, at different levels. For instance, let us take ghee. Ghee is something, it's a product that comes out of a long process of refining. Milk is first boiled, then it is curdled, then it is churned with a lot of effort. That brings out the butter in it, and finally that butter is clarified, it is heated to produce the ultimate product, ghee. And if you look at it this way, ghee is the most sublime, most pure, most supreme expression of milk, the ultimate evolution of milk. And we offer that ghee, that special ghee, special because we have attached a special meaning to it, into the fire, which again, in spiritual parlance, could indicate to us that when we offer something to God with a pure heart, God accepts it completely without leaving anything behind, just as the fire burns everything into ashes without leaving anything behind. Some say the yajnam is all pollution, all that smoke. Well, I have something to vouch for this. When I was a small boy, as a teenager, I would suffer from bronchitis, wheezing, whenever I was exposed to dust and smoke. However, whenever I performed a small yajnam or whenever I participated in one, that smoke never affected me. Now, how do you explain this? It was a miracle. And it was not a one-off incident every time. We have seen during the yajnam, one of the pandits performs 108 Surya Namaskars every day in an attempt to help us understand the significance of this activity. Within the confines of our existing knowledge, scientists and researchers have studied this yoga, Surya Namaskar, and have told us about the benefits of this activity for our body. If that were the case, we could have as well gone to the gymnasium for bodybuilding. We also see the pandits performing lots of mudras, actions with their fingers and hands. Why? Even our school boys and girls can perform mudras. When the teacher has strictly instructed the students to maintain pin drop silence, one student sitting in one corner of the room would be busy conversing with another student sitting in the far end corner of the room in absolute silence in sign language. Psst, psst. C-O-M-E-O-N. Come on. What? This teacher is bugging, simply showing off. Let's pull a trick. The poor teacher does not know what's happening. And I'm sure if one of the Ritviks or Pandits were to witness this, the school students dexterously performing these mudras and conversing with each other, they would exclaim, "Idi entidi kotta mudralu chala baga chala tondaraga chestunare." But if we ponder over this for a moment, if we think about this for a moment, if these students could exchange a whole lot of information by employing these mudras, can we not understand that possibly, the Pandit would also be using these mudras as prescribed in the scriptures and the Shastras to communicate with the divine at an altogether different level? But let us leave all this to the Pandits and the scholars. Let us leave the Shastras and the scriptures for a minute. No, I'm not dismissing them. In fact, Swami was so very keen that every injunction mentioned in the scripture and the Shastras should be followed to the last word, so much that even the Pandits and the scholars who were knowledge and experienced by themselves were wonderstruck at the superior knowledge of Swami. Well, of course, it was Swami. But for a moment, let us leave all this to the realm of the Pandits and the scholars. How can we, ordinary people, relate to this yajna, participate in this yajna? Well, we could find our own unique ways of doing this, of finding meaning in this. For instance, I could start with, what can I offer into this yajna? Ghee, gold, grains. And even as I think about that, I get this feeling, when I offer these things, it is not my offering. It's not something that I own. Whatever I offer to the Lord, it is something that He has created, and I'm offering it back to Himself. So what is mine in it? And thinking thus, I revise my prayer, and I say, Lord, I offer, whatever I offer it with bhavam, with feeling, with love. That's my own. And then I say, when I say I offer, there is a bit of ahamkaram, ego involved in it. And so I pray to God, I offer into this yajnam my bad quality of ahamkaram, of ego. And in these ways and many other ways, we could participate in this yajnam in a spiritually meaningful way. In fact, Swami thundered in one of the Navaratri discourses of 1962. It's a very powerful message, and I quote, "I observe many of you are getting active to procure from Bangalore or Anantapur in time for the Purnahuti articles like sandalwood, gold, and precious stones to be put into the sacrificial fire. I am not permitting anybody to do that. It is easy to throw a few rupees and purchase a few material objects from some shop and throw them into the fire and go about saying you have done a big act of sacrifice. I am going to set you a more difficult task. You cannot escape by doing the easy thing. I want that you should all, when the Purnahuti is offered into the fire on the final day, stand up and reverentially offer into the same fire every one of the bad qualities that you have, the faults, the failings, the temptations, the transgressions. Search for these today. Bring them with you here, nicely packed, and with one final heave of mental exertion, throw them in when the flames of the Purnahuti rise aloft. This is the share that you have to secure in this yajna. That, nothing more and nothing less." I unquote. What a powerful message. What a spiritually insightful message. Now that we have offered whatever we had to offer with the right feeling and bhavam, what is it that we can seek from the yajnam in return? Wealth? Health? Sri Adi Shankaracharya in his Bhajagovindam has said, "Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimeshat kala sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam praveshavitva." Do not boast about wealth, health, friends, and youth. All of this could be destroyed within a moment. Instead, try to come out of this illusion of Maya and strive to attain the timeless truth. The same Bhajagovindam says, "Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, iha samsare bahudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare." Born again, dead again, and back you find yourself in the womb of your mother. It is very difficult to cross over the boundless ocean of samsara. Hence, O Lord, please redeem me through your mercy. At this point in time, I remember a Malayalam song. I like this song for its beautiful meaning. I will sing a couple of stanzas from this song. It's probably easy to understand because most of the words are Sanskrit. Sancharamellam pradakshinamākam sangeetam japamantramākam annapanadikal havisaki matam shayanam namaskaramakam. I will consider all my traveling as pradakshina or circumambulations around you. I will consider all my singing as mantra japa or chanting. I will consider whatever I eat as naivedyam or offering to you. I will consider my sleeping as sashtanga namaskaram or prostrations at your feet. Ayiram suryan maramaril manikyaratnangalai Adiyan namme nintirumunil nirum neitiriyai Adalage oriyaname ചന്ദന ശീതള ചന്ദ്രികയൊലും മടിയിൽ മകനായി ഇവനെയുറക്കൂ. O Mother Devi, O Goddess, you who shine with the effulgence of 1,000 suns, and I who stand before you, O Mother, like a pining soul, please remove all that is unwanted in me and rock me to sleep on your lap, which is as soothing as the cool moon. കർമ്മങ്ങൾ പൂജ മുദ്രകളാക്കാം, കരളിനെ കാണിക്കയേകാം. പുട്ടപർത്തിയിൽ ഞാൻ ഭജനം തുടങ്ങാം, കഥനങ്ങൾ കർപ്പൂരമാക്കാം. O Goddess Devi, I will consider all my acts as the puja mudras that we do during pujas. I will offer my heart to you as dakshina. I will do bhajans and wave the camphor, the arati of my soul's worries. ആയിരം സൂര്യന്മാരാമരിൽ മാണിക്യരത്നങ്ങളായി ചിന്മയരൂപേ എന്നുടെ ചിത്തം ശീലകമാക്കണമേ. ആരാടി എഴുന്നള്ളണേ ചെമ്പട്ടും താലിയും ചാർത്തിയ ദേവി കനിവിൻ തീർത്ഥം ഇവനിൽ പകരൂ. O Goddess Devi, you who shine with the effulgence of 1,000 suns, please emerge in all your grandeur. Bless me with purity, make me pure, and grant me the prasadam of your grace. To conclude, let us connect with our Lord every moment of our life. Let us extend the yajna that we will be witnessing and will be participating during this 1 week. Let us extend this yajna to our daily life on a daily basis. Let us connect to our Lord in our own personal yet uplifting way. May Swami bless us all. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you to our speakers. As they were sharing their experiences, a couple of thoughts ran through me. I just thought I'll share it with all of you. The first speaker spoke about seva, and I'm reminded how Bhagawan makes it so easy for us to follow all the scriptural injunctions. I remember reading in the Advaitic text, Yoga Vasishtha, the first verse, the student asks the master, "Master, tell me, what is the way to self-realization?" And the master says, "Just as a bird has 2 wings, so too for a sadhaka, there are 2 wings to reach the goal of self-realization, and those 2 wings are Jnana and Karma." By making us go through Gramaseva and then in the evening giving us the opportunity to listen to these wonderful discourses, it is Bhagwan's way of providing us these 2 wings. In the very same text, there is a discussion between Rama and Vasishtha, and Rama asks Vasishtha, "Master, please tell me, how do I get vairagya?" And then Vasishtha tells him that, "Rama, go and see the poor outside. Feel pity for them and then come back and cry and say, 'I don't have vairagya, I don't have vairagya.' And crying like that, one day a time will come when you will realize that suddenly you are brimming with vairagya." Also, as one of our students expressed the 7 secrets of happiness, I am reminded of a discourse that I heard from Bhagawan, where Bhagawan said, "What is the source of happiness?" And he said the source of happiness is self-confidence. What is self-confidence? Self-confidence is the confidence that happiness lies only in the self and not anywhere outside. If each of us is rooted in that belief, I think the path to happiness for all of us has begun. And finally, very beautifully expressed by Shri Rajeev Rajan, the subtleties of Yajnam. All these are only paths to purify the mind. Finally, the yajna also has to be sacrificed. The sacrifice also has to be sacrificed. We thank all our speakers for sharing those wonderful thoughts with all of us. We will now have Bhagwan's discourse, which will be followed by a musical program by the students of the Muddenhalli campus of the Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. We now pray to Swami for his divine discourse. Sai Ram.
బ్రహ్మ విద్యను గూర్చి బహుళ ప్రచారంబు సలపువారు కలరు. బ్రహ్మ విద్యను గూర్చి బహుళ ప్రచారంబు సలుపువారు కలరు చాలా మంది. కానీ ఆచరించువారు ఆచరించు గనులిలలేరయ్యా. సత్యమైన మాట సాయి మాట.
There are many people who propagate the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of Brahman. There are many people who propagate and publicize. There are none who practice. This is the word of Sai, which is all truth.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
Embodiments of love.
భారతీయుల యొక్క హృదయము నిర్మలమైనది, నిశ్చలమైనది.
The heart of Bharatiyas is pure and steady.
భగవంతుడు కానటువంటి వస్తువు ఈ జగత్తులో లేదనే భారతీయుల యొక్క విశ్వాసం.
It is the conviction of Bharatiyas that says that all are essentially divine.
సర్వం కలువిదం బ్రహ్మ.
Everything is divine.
సర్వం విష్ణుమయం జగత్తు.
The entire cosmos is divine.
ఈశావాస్యం మిదం జగత్తు.
God pervades in the entire universe.
ఈ మహావాక్యములు అనంతమైనటువంటి సత్యాన్ని ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చాయి.
These Vedic dicta convey the noble truths.
ఇట్టి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క దివ్య సూక్తులను, దివ్య మార్గములను, దివ్య ప్రబోధనను ఆచరించేటువంటి వ్యక్తులు క్రమక్రమేణా క్షీణించిపోతూ వచ్చారు.
Such mighty divine power and the path that takes you towards the divine and the teaching of the divinity, these are not practiced, and those that practice their number is fast declining.
సర్వం విష్ణుమయం జగత్తు చెప్పుచున్నారే కాని ఆ చెప్పిన పలుకులను హృదయమునందు విశ్వసించటం లేదు.
Though they declare that God is present everywhere, but they don't carry it in their heart in reality and in practice.
సర్వం కలువిదం బ్రహ్మ. ఎక్కడ చూచినా భగవంతుడు ఉన్నాడు అనేటువంటి వాక్యములను ఉచ్చరిస్తున్నారు మాత్రమే కానీ ఆచరించటం లేదు.
They simply say for name's sake that God is present everywhere, but they do not realize it in practice.
పవిత్రమైనటువంటి భారతీయ సంస్కృతి యందు ఇలాంటి ఆదర్శవంతమైనటువంటి యొక్క పదములు అనేకము కలవు.
Such noble truths are there in quite a big number as per the culture of Bharat.
భారతీయ సంస్కృతి అనంతమైనటువంటిది, అవ్యయమైనటువంటిది.
The culture of Bharat is infinite and beyond all measure.
కానీ అట్టి దివ్యమైన భవ్యమైన సంస్కృతిని ఈనాడు వదులుకుంటూ ఉన్నారు.
Such novel divine culture is dropped, forgotten by people of today.
కారణం ఏమిటి?
What is the reason?
మానవత్వం యొక్క దివ్యత్వాన్ని క్రమక్రమేణా దూరం గావించుకుంటున్నారు.
Because they have distanced themselves from the latent divinity.
మానవుని నుండియే ఆవిర్భవించినటువంటి యొక్క మానవతా విలువను మర్చిపోతున్నారు.
They have forgotten the human values which are there within immanent.
సత్యం ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఆవిర్భవించింది?
What is the origin of truth?
మానవుని నుండి ఆవిర్భవించింది.
It has emanated out of man.
కానీ మానవుని నుండి ఆవిర్భవించినటువంటి యొక్క నిత్య సత్యాన్ని ఈనాటి మానవుడు ఆచరణలో పెడుతున్నాడా?
Do you find any man practicing this eternal truth that has taken birth in him?
భగవంతుడనగా సత్యమే.
God is truth.
ఈ సత్యము సర్వుల యందు కూడాను ఉన్నటువంటిదే సత్యము.
This truth is in everyone uniform.
ఇట్టి భగవంతుని తత్వాన్ని మానవుడు గుర్తించుకొనలేక అనేక విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క ఆపోహలకు గురి అవుతున్నాడు.
Man is confused, carried away by imagination, being not able to know the
అనాది
divinity.
కాలం నుండి భారతీయులు చెట్టును, పుట్టను, మట్టిని ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క వస్తువులను పూజిస్తూ అనేక విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క నిర్జీవమైనటువంటి రాళ్లను కూడా పూజిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
Since ancient times, there has been practice in Bharat where trees are worshipped, ant hills are worshipped, the dust is worshipped, and the lifeless stones also are worshipped.
కానీ వారి వారి విశ్వాసం యొక్క ఫలమేది? ఈ యొక్క విశ్వాసమునకు కారణం
It is the result that is born out of their true faith.
అనేక మంది దీనిని ఆపోహలకు గురి చేసి భారతీయులు కేవలము మూర్ఖులు అనియు,
Many mistake this mode of worship and consider Bharatiyas as fools.
ఇది కేవలము మూర్ఖపు విశ్వాసములనియు,
It is a foolish tradition.
అనేక విధమైనటువంటి ప్రచారములు సలుపుతూ వచ్చారు.
They go on sharing this view with many.
కానీ ఇది సరైనటువంటి ప్రచారం కాదు.
It is not proper understanding.
భగవంతుడు లేనటువంటి వస్తువు ఈ జగత్తులో లేదు.
In this world, there is nothing without divinity.
అట్టి పరిస్థితి యందు మట్టిని పూజిస్తే తప్పేమి?
Under these circumstances, what's the wrong if you worship
చెట్టును
the
పూజిస్తే
sand?
తప్పేమి?
Why not you worship a tree?
రాయిని పూజిస్తే తప్పేమి?
Why not a stone?
అనగా దీని యందు సర్వత్రా ఉండినటువంటి యొక్క భగవంతుడు ఒక్కడే అనేటువంటి సత్యాన్ని నిరూపిస్తూ వచ్చింది.
This demonstrates the basic truth that God present everywhere is present in these objects of worship.
ఇట్టి ఏకాత్మ భావమును ఈనాటి మానవుడు గుర్తించుకోవడానికి ప్రయత్నించడం లేదు.
Man today is not able to understand the fundamental principle of oneness.
భగవద్గీత కూడాను దీనిని అనేక విధములుగా ప్రచారం చేసి ఏకాత్మతత్వమే నిజమైనటువంటి ఆత్మతత్వాన్ని స్థిరం చేసింది.
Bhagavad Gita also repeatedly stated and restated that this oneness is the very philosophy of Atma or the divinity.
కానీ కొంతకాలము భారతీయుల్లో కూడా కొంతమంది ఈ ఏకాత్మతత్వాన్ని విశ్వసించలేదు.
But among Bharatiyas, few had no faith in this principle of oneness.
బ్రదర్హుడ్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాన్, ఫాదర్హుడ్ ఆఫ్ గాడ్ అన్నారు.
They said brotherhood of man and fatherhood of God.
కానీ దీనిని కేవలం విశ్వసించకూడదని భగవద్గీత ఖండిస్తూ వచ్చింది.
Bhagavad Gita contradicted this view.
ఏకాత్మ భావమే సత్యనిత్యమైనటువంటి యొక్క అది.
This oneness, the ekatma feeling, is the eternal truth.
భారతదేశం నందు ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క ఈ సంస్కృతి ఏ దేశం నందు కానీ ఏ కాలం నందు కానీ కానరాదు.
The culture of Bharat is not noticed in any country at any period of time.
ఏ యొక్క పదార్థమును కూడాను మనం విమర్శించకూడదు, ఏ వ్యక్తిని కూడాను మనము దూషించకూడదు.
We should not criticize any object or any person.
ఎవరిని దూషించినప్పటికీ నీ ఆరాధన దైవంనే నీవు దూషించిన వాడవుతావు.
If you accuse anybody, it amounts to accusing one's own God.
ఎవరిని పూజించినా నీ ఆరాధన దేవతనే నీవు పూజించిన వాడవుతావు.
And if you worship anyone, it amounts to worshipping the divine.
కనుక ప్రతి పదార్థమునందు కూడాను పరతత్వం అనేటువంటిది అంతర్భూతమై ఉంటున్నది.
Therefore, there is the spiritual content in every object of this world.
ఇట్టి పరతత్వాన్ని మనం గుర్తించుకోవడానికి తగిన ప్రయత్నం చేయక విమర్శించడానికి ముందంజ వేస్తున్నాము.
We do not understand the spiritual content of the material world, but we go on criticizing everything.
అద్వేష్ట సర్వభూతానాం అనింది భగవద్గీత.
Bhagavad Gita said, do not hate anyone.
ఎవరిని నీవు దూషించవద్దు.
Don't hate anybody.
ఎవరిని నీవు విమర్శించవద్దు.
Never criticize anyone.
కారణం ఏమనగా అన్నింటి యందుకును భగవంతుడున్నాడు.
The reason is God is present in all.
ఇది కేవలము ఏకాత్మ తత్వాన్ని.
This is oneness actually.
భారతీయుల యొక్క సాంఘిక సంస్కృతి చాలా ఉత్తమమైనటువంటిది.
The social behavioral tendency, the social culture is noblest.
ఇలాంటి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క సంఘ సంస్కృతిని మనం అభివృద్ధి పరచాలి.
We have to develop that social feeling more and more.
సోషల్ జస్టిస్.
Social justice more and more.
ఈ సోషల్ జస్టిస్ ని మనము తగినటువంటి విశ్వాసంతో పెంచుకోవాలి.
We should have full faith in this social justice.
ఇది ఏ భారతీయుల యొక్క ప్రధానమైనటువంటి ఫిలాసఫీ.
This is the basic philosophy of Bharatiyas.
ఈ ఫిలాసఫీ అనేటువంటిది ఏ దేశం నందు కానీ ఏ సోషల్ జస్టిస్ కానీ ఏ మతం నందు కూడా కానరాదు.
This sort of social justice, the philosophy, as we notice in Bharat, is not present anywhere.
ఏకాత్మ భావనకు అతీతమైనటువంటిది ఈ యొక్క భావము.
This transcends the feeling of oneness.
ఇలాంటి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క తత్వాన్ని మానవుడు అర్థం ఏ రీతిగా చేసుకోగలడు?
This sacred principle is not comprehended by people.
మానవత్వంలో ప్రతి విషయాన్ని కూడాను విచారణ చేసి చూసినప్పుడు అన్నింటి యందు దైవత్వం మనకు గోచరిస్తుంది.
In the human life, if you investigate and explore and inquire, you find divinity in every aspect.
మట్టిలో,
In the sand,
వజ్రములో,
diamond,
ఇంకా రాతిలో,
a stone,
కప్పలో,
a frog,
కుప్పలో,
and then
చెట్టులో,
a mound and a
పుట్టలో,
tree. And
ఈ విధంగా అన్నింటి ఎందుకు ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక తత్వం ఏకమైనటువంటి ఒక తత్వం అని ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చింది భగవద్గీత.
Bhagavad Gita emphatically stated that the divinity is present in all these objects. Maybe the anthill or a frog or a hill, whatever might be.
ఈనాటి ప్రాచీనులు కూడాను చెట్టును పూజిస్తుంటారు.
The ancients worship trees.
ప్రతి గృహమునందు కూడాను ఒక తులసి దళమును పెట్టి ఆ తులసిని పూజిస్తుంటారు.
Even today we have tulsi plant in every home.
ప్రతి ఇంటి యందు కూడాను ఒక వృక్షమును కూడాను పెట్టుకొని ఆ వృక్షాన్ని ఆరాధన చేస్తుంటారు.
You find the worship of the plants in every home.
ఇందులో ఉన్నటువంటి బిల్వపత్రి కానీ, మారేడు పత్రి కానీ, తులసి పత్రం కానీ అన్ని కూడాను దైవార్పితమైనటువంటివని వారు విశ్వసిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
They have got full faith that either it is tulsi leaf or maredu leaf or bilwa leaf, they are all the offerings to God.
కనుక భారతీయులకు దైవము కానటువంటి వస్తువు జగత్తులో ఎక్కడనూ లేదు.
For Bharatiyas, everything is divine, nothing different from it.
మనం చూచునవి, చెప్పునవి, చేయునవి, తలంచునవి, ఆచరించునవి, ఆరాధించునవి అన్ని కూడాను భగవత్ స్వరూపములే.
Whatever we see, whatever we declare, whatever we do, whatever we comprehend, all are essentially divine.
ఇలాంటి ఏకాత్మతత్వాన్ని విశ్వసించి అనాది కాలం నుండి ఆచరిస్తూ వచ్చినటువంటి మహనీయులు భారతదేశంలో ఎందరో కలరు.
There are many, many noble people in the past who have realized in reality, in practice, the principle of oneness.
త్యాగరాజు కేవలం సంగీతం నందు కూడాను ఈ ఏకాత్మతత్వాన్ని ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చాడు.
Tyagaraja propagated the principle of oneness through music.
రామ, చీమలో, బ్రహ్మలో, శివకేశవాదవుల్లో ప్రేమ మీద వెలసి ఉండి బిరుదు వహించిన రామా నన్ను బ్రోవరా అన్నాడు.
He prayed to Rama, "O Rama, please bless me. You are present in an ant and also in Brahman. You are present in Shiva and Keshava."
ఒక చీమ ఎందుకును దైవత్వం కలదని తాను విశ్వసిస్తూ
He had
వచ్చాడు.
full faith that there is God even in ant.
ఆ చిన్న చీమకు ఎంత శక్తినిచ్చాడు భగవంతుడు.
God has given mighty power to ant.
ఆ చీమ కుట్టితే పెద్ద మనిషి కూడాను చాలా బాధపడుతుంటాడు.
When once ant bites, even a big man has to feel the pain.
తన సంరక్షణ నిమిత్తమై, తన సెల్ఫ్ సంరక్షణ నిమిత్తమై ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క శక్తులను తన ప్రసాదిస్తూ వచ్చాడు.
And God has given that power to ant to protect itself.
కనుక జగత్తులో భారతీయుల యొక్క సంస్కృతిని, భారతీయుల యొక్క పవిత్రతను, భారతీయుల యొక్క విశ్వాసమును ఎవ్వరు కూడాను చక్కగా అర్థం చేసుకోలేకపోతున్నారు.
The culture of Bharat, sacredness of Bharat, and the faith of Bharatiyas, these are not understood by anybody all over the world.
భారతీయులే దీనిని సరైన అర్థం తీసుకోలేకపోతున్నారు.
Even Bharatiyas themselves are not able to understand in full.
ఒక చిన్న జీవి నుంచి పెద్ద జీవి వరకు కూడాను దైవత్వమే ఉంటుండాలి.
Right from a simple being to a grown up, you find the divinity.
ఈనాటి ప్రథమ దినము,
The first day
నవరాత్రి మహోత్సవము.
is the beginning of Navaratri.
ఈ నవరాత్రి లోపల మహాదుర్గ, మహాకాళి, మహాసరస్వతి మూడింటి యొక్క స్వరూపాన్ని ధరించినటువంటిది ఈ యొక్క ప్రథమ దినము.
The goddess aspect is very much thought of and reflected upon this day.
ఈ ముగ్గురు వేరే కాదు,
They are not separate.
ఈ మూడు కూడా ఏకత్వంతో కూడినటువంటి వాళ్ళే.
The triune God is one and the
మహాకాళి
same.
శక్తి స్వరూపం, అదే ఎనర్జీ.
And the first aspect is energy.
సరస్వతి మన యొక్క వాక్ స్వరూపిణి.
Saraswati, our speech faculty.
లక్ష్మి మన ఆనంద స్వరూపిణి.
Lakshmi, our blissful state.
కనుకనే ఈ మూడు కూడా ప్రతి మానవుని ఎందుకు కూడా ఉంటున్నాయి.
All the three are present in everyone.
కనుకనే మనం ఎక్కడో బయటకు పోయి వెతకనక్కర్లేదు.
You don't need to search outside.
దైవత్వమునగా మానవత్వమే దైవత్వము.
In fact, the very human quality is the divine quality.
కనుకనే మానవుడే దేవుడు.
So man is God.
కనుక మానవుని దేవునిగా భావించుకొని ఆ దేవగుణమును మీరు పెంచుకొని
Consider man as God and develop divine quality.
దైవానందాన్ని పొందండి.
And then enjoy the divine bliss.
Students of Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning, Muddenhalli Campus, offer ourselves at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Sai Ma. Lord Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo me Bhaktya Prayachati Tataham Bhaktya Upahritam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha. Leaf, flower, fruit or water. Whatever you offer to me with devotion and love, I shall partake it with joy. Going by the same spirit, we offer a garland of songs at the lotus feet of our Sai Ma on the holy occasion on the commencement of Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajnam. एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात्। शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गजानन गजानन गजमुखं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं जयति जय गणपति गजानन वक्रतुण्ड सुमति शुभानन जयति जय गणपति गजानन वक्रतुण्ड सुमति शुभानन शुभ शकुन शुभ योग शुभ मंगल सुशोभा प्रथम पूजन शुभ शकुन शुभ योग शुभ मंगल सुशोभा प्रथम पूजन जयति जय गणपति गजानन वक्रतुण्ड सुमति शुभानन जयति जय गणपति गजानन वक्रतुण्ड सुमति शुभानन हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं पीत पीताम्बरन पिप्पिलिकायति प्रिय सुस्वभावे तुण्डिलतनु त्रिभङ्गि त्रिकालकालद्वयं समावे वेदवन्दितवन्दनं वाहनविराजितमूषकं तव कपिलकाया कञ्चनं करकमलकोमलमोहकं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं धीं धीं तननना धीरेना धीरेना तधीरेना तन धीरेना तन धीरेना तन धीरेना धीं धीं तननना हे रंब लख लख ललाट लघुतमलास्य लयलियाखत कुन्तल कुञ्ज किरीट कुण्डल किरण पोष कुशल क्रमाङ्गत हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं त्रिशूल त्रिशति पत्र दुर्वा मिश्र साजे धिमित धिमि धिमित धिमि धिमित धिमि धिमित कंकण बालक पाल चंद्र ललाट रत्न चंदन तिलक सोहे रत्न खचित सुवर्ण सजित शिरोमणि मुख मुकुट मोहे हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं हे गजानन 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 गजमुखं हे गजानन
bewitching smile, enthralling that sees her, eyes of dove, whose glance is yearned for by many for years. Her curly hairs like divine aura, spreading her infinite love to all like a divine mother. O Sai Ma, your love and glory is beyond description. The 4 Vedas, 5 elements, 6 parts of renunciation, 7 oceans, 8 forms of yoga, and 9 kinds of sacrifices are nothing but contemplating on you. Janani, this offering is a means for us to merge in you.
शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तप्रभवितुम्
न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि
हरिहर विरिंचादि बिरवी
प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति
जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी
जगत्कारणिनी परिपूरणिनी जगत्कारणिनी परिपूरणिनी जगत्कारणिनी परिपूरणिनी जननी 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 ஒருமான் மருவும் சிறுபூந்திரையும் சடைவார் குழலும் இடைவாகனமும்
சடைவார் குழலும் இடைவாகனமும் கொண்ட நாயகனின் குளிர் தேகத்திலே நின்ற நாயகியே இடபாகத்திலே
நின்ற நாயகியே இடபாகத்திலே ஜகன்மோகினி சிம்மவாகினி
ஜகன்மோகினி சிம்மவாகினி
ஜகன்மோகினி சிம்மவாகினி
जननी जननी जगमनी अगमनी
जगत्कारणिनी
परिपूरणिनी
சதுர்வேதங்களும் பஞ்சபூதங்களும் ஷண்மார்க்கங்களும் சப்ததீர்த்தங்களும்
ஷண்மார்க்கங்களும் சப்ததீர்த்தங்களும் அஷ்டயோகங்களும் நவயாகங்களும் தொழும் பூங்கழலே மலை மாமகளே
தொழும் பூங்கழலே மலை மாமகளே அலை மாமகள் நீ கலை மாமகள் நீ
அலை மாமகள் நீ கலை மாமகள் நீ
அலை மாமகள் நீ கலை மாமகள் நீ జగత్కారణిని పరిపూరణిని
ஸ்வர்ணரேகையுடன் ஸ்வயமாகி வந்த லிங்கரூபிணியே மூகாம்பிகையே
ஸ்வர்ணரேகையுடன் ஸ்வயமாகி வந்த லிங்கரூபிணியே மூகாம்பிகையே
பல தோத்திரங்கள் தர்மசாஸ்திரங்கள் பணிந்தே துவதும் மணி நேத்திரங்கள்
பணிந்தே துவழும் மணி நேத்திரங்கள்
சக்தி பீடமும் நீ
சக்தி பீடமும் நீ சர்வமோட்சமும் நீ
சக்தி பீடமும் நீ சர்வமோட்சமும் நீ
சக்தி பீடமும் நீ சர்வமோட்சமும் நீ
ஜனனி ஜனனி ஜகம் நீ யகம் நீ
ஜகத்காரணினி
பரிபூரணினி
ஜகத்காரணினி பரிபூரணினி
ஜனனி ஜனனி ஜகம் நீ யகம் நீ ஜனனி
ஜனனி ஜனனி
ஜனனி ஜனனி ஜனனி ஜகம் நீ யகம் நீ
స్వామి, పరమానంద స్వరూపుడివై దివి నుండి భువికి పయనమై భక్తుల భారము తొలగించి హృదయ సింహాసనాన్ని అధిష్ఠించినావని, త్రేతాయుగంలో ధర్మ సంస్థాపకుడవని, ద్వాపరయుగంలో దుష్ట శిక్షకుడవని, భక్త రక్షకుడవని ఆలకించావు. కానీ ఈ కలియుగంలో కరుణ కురిపించి మమ్ములను మరపించి మురిపించి మా జ్ఞాన చక్షువులను తెరిపించి మీ దర్శన భాగ్యము ప్రసాదించారు. ఇది చాలు మాకు ఓ ద్వారకామాయి, పట్టి పురీష సాయి, ఆలకించబోయి మా అనురాగ రాగ వనమాలి.
రాజాధిరాజ యోగిరాజ పరబ్రహ్మ శ్రీ సచ్చిదానంద समर्थ सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। నీ పదముల ప్రవహించిన గంగా యమునా పాలిట ప్రసరించిన ప్రేమ కరుణా సాయి, నీ పదముల ప్రవహించిన గంగా యమునా పాలిత ప్రసరించిన ప్రేమ కరుణా ఏ క్షేత్రమైన తీర్థమైన నీవేగా, ఏ జీవమైన భావమైన నీవేగా, నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి, ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయి, నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి, ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయి. సాయి, నీ పదముల ప్రవహించిన గంగా యమునా మా బాలిక ప్రసరించిన ప్రేమ కరుణా మనసులలో దైవం నువ్వు, కోశల రాముడివై కనిపించావు, గురి తప్పని భక్తిని పెంచావు, మారుతిగా అగుపించావు. భక్త సులభుడవై కరుణించావు. భోళా శంకరుడిగా దర్శనమిచ్చావు. ముక్కోటి దైవాలు ఒక్కటైన నీవు. ముక్కోటి దైవాలు ఒక్కటైన నీవు. ఏకమనేకమ్ముగా విస్తరించినావు. ఏకమనేకమ్ముగా విస్తరించినావు. నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి. ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయే. నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి. ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయే. సాయి నీ పదముల ప్రవహించిన గంగాయమునా. మా పాలిత ప్రసరించిన ప్రేమ కరుణా. ఆరడుగుల దేహము కావు. భక్తుల అనుభూతికి ఆకృతి నీవు. అందరికీ సమ్మతమే నీవు. మతమన్నది లేదన్నావు. అన్ని జీవులలో కొలువైనావు. ఆత్మ పరమాత్మలు ఒకటే అన్నావు. అణురేణు బ్రహ్మాండ విశ్వమూర్తి నీవు. అణురేణు బ్రహ్మాండ విశ్వమూర్తి నీవు. సృష్టి విలాసమునకే సూత్రధారి నీవు. సృష్టి విలాసమునకే సూత్రధారి నీవు. నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి. ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయే. నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి. ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయే. నీవు లేని చోటు లేదు సాయి. ఈ జగమే నీ ద్వారకామాయే.
In the Treta Yuga, you incarnated Sri Ramachandra, the king of Ayodhya. In the Dwapar Yuga, as Sri Krishna, the Nandalala of Brindavan. Now, in this Kali age, you are our Sai Rama and Sai Krishna. The next song we present you is a composition of Saint Vittal Das on your advent as Rama and Krishna.
Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare पावन पदतला राम हरे देवकी वसुदेव रसर बिडिसिद देव देव श्री कृष्ण हरे देवकी वसुदेव रसर बिडिसिद देव देव श्री कृष्ण हरे जय जय राम हरे जय जय 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 कृष्ण हरे राम राम ಎಂದು ನೇಮದಿ ಭಜೆ ಪರ ಕಾಮಿತ ಫಲದ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ ಹರೇ ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ಎಂದು ನೇಮದಿ ಭಜೆ ಪರ ಕಾಮಿತ ಫಲದ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ ಹರೇ ಪ್ರೇಮದಿ ಭಕ್ತರ ಕಾಲಿಪ ಶ್ರೀವರ ದೇಶ ವಿಠಲ ಶ್ರೀ कृष्ण हरे प्रेमदि भक्तर पालिप श्रीवर देश विठल श्री कृष्ण हरे जय जय राम हरे जय जय कृष्ण हरे जय जय राम हरे जय जय कृष्ण हरे जय जय राम हरे जय जय कृष्ण हरे जय जय राम
ओ साईं माँ, तुमने हमें सब कुछ दिया है, वो तुम्हारी प्यार की बौछार, जिसमें भीगे हुए हम सब आज तुम्हारे सामने बैठे हैं, जिसके लिए हम सब तुम्हारे शुक्रगुजार हैं। आज हमारा दिल खुशी से झूमे हुए ये गा रहा है कि हमें बस अपने प्यार के रंग में रंग दो साईं, हमें बस अपने प्यार के रंग में रंग दो, और ऐसे रंग दो कि दिल के समुद्र में जब झांके तो बस तुम ही तुम नजर आओ।
अपने ही रंग में रंग दो बसंती रंग दे 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 रंगीले तू तो साहेब मोरा महबूब इलाही मोहे अपने ही रंग में रंग दे मोहे अपने ही रंग में रंग दे जो तू मांगे जो तू मांगे रंग की रंगाई मेरा जो बन गिरवी रख ले रख ले जो तू मांगे रंग की रंगाई मेरा जो बन गिरवी रख ले निजामुद्दीन वीर है मोरे प्रेम प्रीत का संग दे संग दे संग दे रंगीले तू तो साहेब मोरा महबूब इलाही मोहे अपने ही रंग में रंग दे रंग में रंग दे रंग दे रंग दे रंग दे रंग दे रंग दे अपने रंग में रंग दे पार्वती तनया विघ्न विनाशक विघ्न विनाशक पार्वती तनया विघ्न विनाशक पार्वती तनया विघ्न विनाशक मंगलदायक देवा मंगलदायक देवा मंगलदायक देवा मंगलदायक देवा जय गणेश जय पार्वती तनया विघ्न विनाशक मंगलदायक देवा मंगलदायक देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश सिंदूरवदना प्रथम वंदना सिंदूरवदना प्रथम वंदना अलख निरंजना मूषिकवाहना अलख निरंजना मूषिकवाहना पाशाकुशधर शंभो नंदना पाशाकुशधर शंभो नंदना मंगलदायक देवा मंगलदायक देवा जय गणेश 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 पार्वती तनया विघ्न विनाशक शिव शंभो शंभो शिव शंभो महादेवा 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 हर 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 महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा हर 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 महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा हालाहलधर शंभो अनाथनाथ शंभो हालाहलधर शंभो अनाथनाथ शंभो हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम नमः शिवाय हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम नमः शिवाय हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय शिव शंभो शंभो शिव शंभो महादेवा हर 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 महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा
భజ గోవిందం గోవిందం భజ మూఢమతే గోవిందం భజ మూఢమతే భజ గోవిందం భజ గోవిందం గోవిందం భజ మూఢమతే సంప్రాప్తే సన్నిహితే కాలే సంప్రాప్తే సన్నిహితే కాలే नहीं रक्षति दुःखू करणे नहीं नहीं रक्षति दुःखू करणे पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जठनि जय रे शयनं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहु दुष्कारे इह संसारे बहु दुष्कारे इह संसारे बहु दुष्कारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज मूढमते
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपदे स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपदे आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धव ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेव हरे अंतरु नीवे स्वामी हरे अंतरु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ओम जय जगन्नाथ Sadgurudeva. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji Jai.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking Bhagawan's divine blessings, in view of the ongoing Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yajnam as a part of the Dasara celebrations at Prasanthi Nilayam, for tomorrow's morning session, all the devotees are requested to directly assemble in the Purnachandra auditorium. The morning session at Purnachandra Hall will conclude with Mangal Aarti, which will be followed by Bhagawan's Divya Darshan in Sai Kulwant Hall. Tomorrow evening at 4:40 p.m. in Sai Kulwant Hall, after the regular Vedam chanting, the Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha will commence with the invocatory Vedic chants by the students of the Sri Sathya Sai Higher Secondary School, Prasanthi Nilayam. This will be followed by 3 talks by 2 students and 1 faculty member of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. We will then be blessed with Bhagawan's divine discourse, which will be followed by a music program by the students of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Brindavan Campus. The evening program will then conclude with bhajans and Mangal Aarti, followed by Bhagawan's Divya Darshan. Jai Sai Ram.
ఓం శ్రీ సాయిరామ్. భగవాన్ శ్రీ సత్యసాయి బాబా వారి దివ్య అనుగ్రహ ఆశీర్వాదములతో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో అత్యంత వైభవంగా కొనసాగుతున్నటువంటి దసరా వేడుకల్లో భాగంగా వేద పురుష సప్తాహ జ్ఞానయజ్ఞం యొక్క 2వ రోజు ఉదయం కార్యక్రమాన్ని వీక్షించడానికి భక్తులందరినీ రేపు ఉదయం నేరుగా పూర్ణచంద్ర సభామండపంలో ఆసీనులవ్వాల్సిందిగా ప్రార్థన. రేపటి ఉదయం కార్యక్రమం పూర్ణచంద్ర సభామండపంలోని మంగళహారతితో సమాప్తమవుతుంది. అనంతరం సాయి కుల్వన్ సభామండపంలో స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. రేపటి సాయంకాలం కార్యక్రమం సాయి కుల్వన్ సభామండపంలో 4:30 వేద పారాయణంతో ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. ప్రశాంతి విద్వన్ మహాసభ 2వ రోజు కార్యక్రమం రేపు సాయంకాలం 4:40 శ్రీ సత్యసాయి ఉన్నత విద్యా సంస్థల ముద్దనహళ్ళి క్యాంపస్ విద్యార్థుల వేద పఠనంతో ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. అనంతరం శ్రీ సత్యసాయి విద్యా సంస్థల నుండి 2 విద్యార్థులు 1 అధ్యాపకులు తమ ప్రసంగాలను అందిస్తారు. ఆపై మనందరినీ ఆశీర్వదిస్తూ భగవాన్ బాబావారు తమ దివ్యోపన్యాసాన్ని అనుగ్రహిస్తారు. తదుపరి శ్రీ సత్యసాయి విద్యా సంస్థల బృందావన్ క్యాంపస్ విద్యార్థులు 1 సంగీత విభావరిని స్వామివారి దివ్య పాదాల చెంత ప్రేమపూర్వకంగా సమర్పిస్తారు. రేపటి సాయంకాలం కార్యక్రమం భజన మంగళహారతితో సమాప్తమవుతుంది. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. జై సాయిరామ్.